Man United need to step on the gas and stop making excuses now for not getting Brian Mbeumo over the line. The sale of Anthony Elanga to Newcastle United for the best part of £52 million is going to give us some peas, around about 5 million. So if we've put in 2 bids for Brian Mbeumo, that surely should be enough to say we've got an extra 5 million to play with, whether that's add-ons or upfront fee. Fling it down to West London to the G-Tech Stadium, please. Is that too hard to ask? I'm not someone who gets too angry. I'm not someone who gets too outlandish and starts making unreasonable demands. We've been stuck in dead talks with Brian Mbeumo, or should I say Brentford, for the last 6 weeks or so over the extra fee. Well, guess what? We can't sell anyone, but the next best thing is add-ons or sell-on clauses from players that used to play for us. Yeah? So Anthony Elanga has gone to Newcastle within 2 bids and he's off. That's fine. Get the money in, fling it down there to Keith Andrews and say, here you go, kid. Here's a couple extra million for you to spend. Is that too hard? Is that too simplistic? I don't work in football banking or football finance, but we're stuck. We need a few extra £1 million. We don't quite have it right now. Elanga gets sold to Newcastle. We get a few extra £1 million. We take that few extra £1 million and we give it to Brentford. Is that it? Surely, or is it just me? Is it just me? Welcome to United View, guys. It just makes too much sense, though, doesn't it? Maybe it isn't like that. Maybe
someone mentioned in the chat last night. Marcel was saying 5 million. Sell him for fight, get 5 million in.
Well, in the end, it means we've got 20 million. We've sold, Elanga for 20 million, which is more to your point, which is it's not doing that. If we would have done Marcel's thing, we wouldn't have even got this far to get.
We sold everyone for 5 million.
It's so funny. Like we've sold it for 15, have to wait 2 years to get another 5. But that's what sell-on clauses are. That's why you insert them, right? Because if the player does well, you want to get a little bit of that profit. And he was homegrown. So wait, he's homegrown. So is that 5 like a light 15?
Oh, that's what I mean. I don't know. I would hope so. I would hope. It's just extra, isn't it?
But however you look at it,
it's extra. You weren't anticipating. You couldn't put monetary value on it, could you?
No, you didn't know when it was going to come, even though you got selling clause. So what was the deal? Just quickly before I carry on, what was our last bid? Was it 55 plus 10? And they said no. Or was it 50 plus 10?
Who knows at this
point? But there were like 2 official ones where it was like a lot of people were reporting.
Mbeumo's second bid. What was the second bid? Well, the improved bid allegedly was worth £62.5 million. I suppose
the add-ons might have been a lot, not a lot up front.
United had already seen a bid worth £55 million rejected. Talks between the two sides are continuing. Does it say how much that was made out of?
I remember doing the shows and it was like, was it 55?
But they were saying it was 60. It was 62. Yeah, a lot. They were saying £62.5 million, but I guess it's about it being upfront.
Yeah,
so maybe it was 55 plus 7, perhaps ish.
Yeah, that's what TK says there. I remember it being something around that. I've lost track of all these bids / non-bids / imminent / not. I've lost track.
The waters have been very muddied when it comes to how much it's actually been offered and how much Brentford want.
I don't know exactly. So I don't. So I don't believe we're far off in valuation. I just think it's how much you have to pay up front, which obviously matters to us.
Which is what is annoying people, isn't it? Because naturally we're going, the last offer was overall 62.5 and you want 62.5. So how can we not get that over the line and done?
If that's not guaranteed, they might want that guarantee because 62.5 might be like if he scores another 20 goals again, it activates them 7 million add-ons or the add-on. Because we're shit, people are probably really skeptical about the add-ons with us. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Unless they're appearance based,
qualify for Champions League.
Exactly. Well, I don't know the next time you're going to do that, mate. So I don't want that. That's not a feasible clause for me to have as Brentford owner when I'm looking to secure the P's for the next move. Yeah, you're being cheeky by saying, look, see, this whole package totals 62.5. But one, I don't know if your team's good enough to even get the best out of Brian Mbeumo. So he might go from scoring 20 goals to 10. So that ain't going to get met. That's why you probably want it to just be things like how many games he's going to play, because he's probably going to play a lot of games. But other than that, you're reluctant with Man United with that add-on. So I think they're looking at what is up front. And let's be honest, I don't blame them. When you do see the João Pedro deal, when you do see Anthony Elanga deal, when you do see Jamie Gittins coming to the Premier League unproven, never played there in his life, 50 million. They're a couple of years younger than him, but he's in his prime. He's 26 next month. Do you know what I mean? He's prime.
Well,
so
like you said, they'll look at João Pedro, right? Last season, João Pedro scored 10 goals in the Premier League. 27 games, scored 10 goals. And he's 23, he's 24 in September. Meanwhile, Brian Mbeumo,
enough of them were pens.
like you said, and Brian Mbeumo next month, 26 years old. Last season in the Premier League, in comparison to João Pedro, who scored 10 goals, 6 assists, Brian Mbeumo got 20 goals, 8 assists. So you can't necessarily blame Brentford. For them. You can't necessarily blame Brentford for going, well, if João Pedro's 60, then Brian Mbeumo is definitely worth more than that. You can't offer us 55 million up front. And Man United also, in the back of their mind, they will also know. They'll go like, if we pull off 55 million, that's a good deal. We've done well there. We've done well there, So
they tried to lowball it, maybe can we get it?
Well, just try and be a bit, I don't know. So, but like going back to the Elanga thing, if the difference up front is like a 5 million quid, and you just go, surely that can be enough. Just get something over the line. Like we said yesterday, there is this element of twitchiness to the point now that when Mbeumo is through the door and whenever he does come in, there are some people like Minnow yesterday were even saying, like, are you starting to get worried that it's not going to happen because things have slowed down so much? It's been so long that the deal almost won't be celebrated as much as it would have been 2 or 3 weeks ago, because it's just like on to the next. We need to get the next. We need to do the next. So hopefully this Elanga thing is just little pennies from heaven, and we've just gone, thank you. We'll just get this one over the line. Over the line, Flex.
Over the line. Yeah, over the line. And that's what I'm saying is I see why they're holding on for more. I get it. It's their right to do so. But also I see why this bit of money here coming in should be the one to, hopefully you'd think, to tip it over the edge. But I don't know, man. We have to get him in, man. We really have, because like you said, after him, who we even linked to? If that deal collapses, it's going to take us, you'd think anyway, because it's not been in the media, it would take us a while to reignite. Well, yeah.
I'll tell you we're linked to. This was a little bit disappointing. This is always fun with doing these shows. So you get the shows prepped, you get them ready, and then The Athletic releases their transfer deal sheet that they do at least once a week, maybe a couple of times a week. And it's, and every club, very extensive. I would say the Prem around Europe, the world today, I think it was based around Messi signing a new contract into Miami. And you go through, and you can always tell who's doing a lot of business by how low down you are on the list. Sometimes it's alphabetical. Sometimes, if you're high up, you're doing stuff. So I'm scrolling through this morning, I'm thinking, maybe there'll be some, something in there we haven't really thought about, we haven't really seen this morning. This is what was on things that were on the transfer deal sheet this morning. First of all, brace yourselves, guys.